You've painted a really pessimistic picture. So, do you advise everything returns to status quo? No talking, nothing.
Let me tell you something, right? There are a lot of positions being put up. Let's go back to parliamentary. When Awolowo was there, things were okay. But I asked myself really, is that what Nigerians desire? Nigerians are not asking for too much, really, so to speak. They want a good life. Give us the basic necessities of life. I don't need a conference to tell me that public funds should not be stolen. I don't need a conference to tell me that there should be accountability in government.
Which is what the National Assembly was supposed to do, watch over the executive to ensure that some of these things are put in shape. But you said something, the National Assembly couldn't muster up the will. Can they muster up that will? Considering their affiliations here and there, political affiliations, social affiliations, can they muster up the will to ensure that there is a restructuring?
I think we must refer to the National Assembly alongside them lines.
I didn't say can they, will they?
They can. They can.
Will they?
They can.
No.
They can. And let me explain why. If public pressure is brought to bear. In time past, I mean, every week there's a scandal. Every week there's a probe. In time past, it never happened. Whether anybody likes it or not, we're making some progress, even though it may be a bit slow. The question, from my own view, and I'm sorry to say this, is that when people talk of that when they talk of being marginalized, I ask myself, who is marginalizing who? We should put things in proper perspective. I would rather look at marginalization from the perspective of the rich marginalizing the poor, the leaders marginalizing the followers. Those are the top rung of the ladder, marginalizing the commoners.
So, if at the end of the day, this conference goes ahead, surmounts most of the challenges before it, and come out to the decision that is finally accepted as the Constitution, what would be your take?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
If this conference, surmounts most of the challenges before it, and is finally able to make sense of itself in terms of, coming out with something concrete that Nigerians can accept.
I can sit here.
What will be your take?
I can sit here and tell you straight from the hip that nothing will come out from this conference. I want to be proved wrong. When you have a conference of grandfathers, those that should have retired to their villages, sitting in the same conference with their grandchildren, the representation of the youth in that conference is just about 18%. We have those that have raped Nigeria, stolen Nigeria, sodomized Nigeria, and they have the guts, the audacity to stand up and say, we created this mess and we should be allowed to rectify the mess. A mess that you created in your youth, and you want to use your white hair, your gray hair, your old age.
What's wrong with correcting your mistakes? If this is the opportunity they have to make right what they did wrong before, what's wrong with it?
The mess that has been created right from independence till this moment, over a 50-year period. I mean,
Mr. Akanbi,
yeah,
you growing up, you made a mistake, and now you have an opportunity to correct it.
The truth
is there anything wrong with
it? The truth is that you can't be a judge in your own cause.
But have you accepted that you did wrong before?
Fine, then go home and sin no more, and let some others come and rectify this problem. You can't be a judge in your own cause. What if our wish is that for all the mess that you've created, you must forfeit ill-gotten wealth? What if our wish is that for all the mess you've created, you must go to jail? Will they accede to that?
So your opinion on this is there is no chance that this conference will help us solve anything at all?
Our problem is, I wanted to make some points really. People talk about Awolowo. Awolowo is an enigma. He's in a class of his own. You can't compare him to those we have now. How many of them are ready to go into a life of celibacy, the way Awolowo did at some point in his life? How many of them are ready to leave their comfort zone, the way Ojukwu left his comfort zone to join the military and to lead his people into war? How many of them are willing to emulate the Saudana of Sokoto or Tafawa Balewa, who died and left virtually nothing? I mean, we should go past the stage of talk. Talk is cheap.
Let's extend this to young people. Are we doing enough really in this country? Because much as, yes, you have the elderly in this conference, are the young people actually doing enough for themselves? Are they standing up to be counted? Or is the system skewed deliberately against them, and how do they correct it?
Sincerely, the system is skewed against them. I doff my hat to every young person in Nigeria for being able to progress, for being able to trudge on despite the odds, despite the challenges. As a young man, you want to go to school, you have to pay through your nose. You want to go to the hospital, you have to pay. You expect certain services from the government, you strictly have to pay. We are regaled with stories that when that particular generation, when they went to school for free. Before they came out, they had jobs, cars, and houses. How many young persons would have that privilege right now? You have a conference, the Nigerian, the percentage of, the number of young persons in Nigeria is about 80 million, which is about half of the population. We have a conference that has just given them 18% representation. And when people go to that conference, they form all kinds of in-house caucuses, super delegates. Did you see any young person in the list of those super delegates? These were the same people, these were the same persons that brought Nigeria to its knees.
What about making their voice count during elections? We've seen some other countries where if the youth say something, I mean, look at South Africa, look at the young people in political parties, they're a major bloc. What about over here? Are they standing up and constituting themselves into that bloc to the extent that they're not allowing all those divisions from extraneous external forces?
Well, you've talked about elections, but what I want to ask is that, are we sure that the system is designed in such a way and manner that we have free and fair elections?
Should we accept that?
We should. Well, no, we should not. We should not. But I can tell you that the young people of Nigeria are not happy. They go on Facebook, they try to organize rallies, they are stifled.
But the system won't give it to them free.
Sorry?
The system will not let them have
Definitely
it for free.
not. Definitely
so they have to
not.
recognize these challenges will be there, but they have to surmount it.
Definitely. Definitely. I entirely agree with you. But Chamberlain, you have to understand one thing. In the country that we found ourselves, how do you get ahead? If you don't agree with the government policy and you try to organize a group of protesters, not to cause mayhem, but to engage in peaceful process, the next thing is you see the police come out with tear gas and they chase everybody away.
Peaceful protest?
Exactly.
But of course, that's against the law. You can't have peaceful protests and they chase everybody away. That's wrong.
Of course it is. On the part of the government, it is.
Okay, Ahmed Akanbi, legal practitioner, thank you very much indeed for coming today on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you so much.
All right, then, so, okay, let's take a break and see. We'll return and look at some of the comments coming from you about what we're focused on today. We're back after this.